Welcome to another episode 45 of Live with Jill and Frank. My name's Jill Petrie. I'm a psychic medium and author.
And my name is Frank, and I'm a mystic and coach. And you're watching Live with Jill and Frank.
Live. So if you're watching us, please share out the live. We have some interesting things to talk about tonight. Um, and please give us a shout out in the chat. Let us know you're here. Drop an emoji if you don't have anything in particular you want to say. Just anything to just buff up that algorithm. Did I say that word right?
I'm not exactly sure. That would be a word I
Aneurysm?
don't know.
What's the word? And it's not aneurysm. I can't think of the word.
No, definitely not.
Admirism? What is it, Frank? You know the word.
No, because I can't read.
Algorithm.
I'm
I don't
attempting to
know.
read. I'm
Every
attempting to read your mind, but I can't.
admirism.
Admiration,
No, when
admiritum.
your posts get bumped up.
Oh, I have no idea what that is.
Agmar.
Oh, the algorithm.
There you
Okay.
go. The
Wow. Okay,
algorithm.
so basically, help us, yes, climb up the algorithm. Help the algorithm think we're cool. Um,
How did I
because right
get what
now
I
we're not
got from
doing so
that?
good yet.
Wow.
Careful. Once it can think, it's gonna get offended. We're reaching that point. You know what? Like AI is becoming it's a thing now. It's not going away. It's we're gonna have to deal with it. I think.
So, guys, tonight we're going to talk to you about grounding or earthing. Um, if you've heard of grounding yourself, or some people might say they feel grounded, or they're grounded in the decision, or whatever the case may be. Um, there's a reason for that. And there's actually a YouTube video. I wonder if we can find that video and share it, maybe the link.
Uh,
Um,
well, I wouldn't know the video, so you'd have to find it.
yeah, I'll post it when Frank starts talking. That'll give me time to post it in the comments. Anyway, it's a little over an hour long, and it's about this woman that she came to Louisiana. She was a filmmaker, and she came to film something, and then something happened. I think it was like the oil spill or something. And she started having health issues. She hadn't had kids yet. She was told she was going to have trouble, having kids, blah blah blah. Anyway, she ended up going on to find earthing from a doctor that she had seen, and it worked. So she had a baby. The baby was really sick the first, I want to say, it was 2 years of her life, and after earthing or grounding, the baby miraculously recovered. So, what is earthing? Can you do it indoors? Can you do it outdoors? Um, we do it indoors in circle, but if you actually want to do it for like healing purposes, I would definitely suggest you do it outdoors. Because you're actually connecting with the earth, and basically all you have to do is go walk outside barefoot. Spend some time outside barefoot. Um, you ever notice how, like, as a parent, I've noticed there would be times where I would see these kids that they never had shoes on their feet. They were always running around without shoes, and even in the winter time, and but they never got sick. And me, I always had shoes on my kids' feet. Like, if even if my kids were inside, I had to have shoes on their feet. It was just a thing. Like, no matter what,
Mhm.
my kids wore shoes. So, and my kids were always sick. But and then I was like, well, they let their kids run around in the rain and like whatever, and their kids are never sick. And I try to keep my kids indoors in bad weather and try to keep my kids, with extra clothes on, and they're sick. There's a reason for that. because those kids that are running around outdoors and playing in the rain, they're well grounded. Okay, Frank, moving to your
Hmm.
opinion. Being quiet for too long makes me nervous.
I'm listening. No, that's because I listen. That's because you say something that's interesting. I would not listen if it wasn't interested. I'm ADHD, right? I would just jump in.
You
No, no,
think
no.
you
It's because
are?
it's interesting. Um, See, for me, grounding, like it's funny because you bring the healing, and I think a lot of times it's the right approach. But coming from magic, I see four different energies that
Mhm.
are always in interplay, right? It's always like the four elements. So it's air, water, fire. And so it's balancing them, but it's also like responding. Like a lot of times when people need grounding, it's because they're in the air energy, right? They're all
Mhm.
spread out. They're all like, what's happening? They're all in their thoughts and their head is spinning a million times a minute. And so all of a sudden they need like something to bring them back down, right? Like almost literally, you can almost feel yourself like as if you're flying, right? You're all light, and then you go into the, like, so let's say in my case I would go into the forest and I would probably even hold a tree. It's funny because people laugh, right? Tree huggers and whatever. Like the truth is, if you put your hand
It
on a tree,
works.
there's something that can be felt. And then even then, like it's funny because the other day that's what happened, right? I put my hand on a tree and I just for the hell of it, I knew what was going to happen, but I kind of shook the tree and it just didn't move, right? Because it was like, I don't know, probably 8 inches around. And I was just like, yeah, you're really solid, right? uh and that solid, that like it speaks to you. And well, I mean, I'm always in the forest, so obviously it does. And I'm Taurus, so by all means I'm already grounded, a lot. But yeah, like a lot of times when people are in those really rough patches, it's because it's either fiery or airy things that they're trying to calm down, right? So it's either uh looking within, which will be which will be water, or grounding themselves, which is also the reason that people are extremely attracted to water when they want to calm down,
Mhm.
because it allows them introspection. It allows them to look at their deeper emotions, to look at their, who they are and
Frank,
what, you know.
let me just change up the subject just for one
Go on.
second because this has been on my mind all week. Did you know that we only discovered 20% of the Earth's water,
Huh?
oceans?
Oh, you mean like if you count the depths or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh no, it's
Isn't that weird?
insane.
What if
And
we
the
like fall in from this side one day?
and the little bits that we've seen at those depths is like insane. It's like fishes that light and stuff, and like creatures that seem to have like really smart ways of doing things. And
Yeah.
you're like, okay, wait a
Mermaids.
minute, man. Like stuff that's going on down there is really tricky.
Mhm.
You don't want to be there. Like, I don't know. It seems very there's a lot of dangerous stuff too. But yeah, no,
I was
it's
also watching um I'm changing up the subject, but
go on.
this, that's how we roll. I was also watching this
Sure.
this video the other day of these people talking about slipped my mind. I don't know what I was gonna say.
All right. Um but okay, so you were talking more about a specific grounding method, if I understood, when you were talking or just before there, right?
Yeah, I was going off of grounding.
Okay,
But
so
so specifically, like in that movie that it's called a movie, but it, like I said, it's on YouTube. It's like they like filmed it themselves. But
okay.
it's like very high quality. I would call it more of like a documentary type thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they do interviews and stuff. But like people actually like heal from different things like high blood pressure and all different sorts of of things, and even things that they can't find cures from, just by going like laying down in the grass. Like take all your clothes off and just go lay down in the ground.
Returning to nature, just letting
Hmm.
it. Um, there's even practices where, like, something I used to do before meditating, I would take a bath and then let the water drain out any negative energy. So I would visualize myself as if the bath had like a light to it, and then as it went down, like when I drained it, it would drain all the negative with it. So I would visualize, like, darker spots or whatever leaving me and draining down. And it's
That's
the same thing
interesting.
with grounding, right? You kind of give it all that stuff.
Yeah. I need you to remind me about that because, oh man, I'm going to have to write myself a note because you know I'm not going to remember.
That's
Because
okay. I
that's very
remember that part.
interesting what you just mentioned about allowing it to drain through.
Well, it's because you're giving it back, right? You're either giving it back to water, which will purify it, or you're giving it back to the earth, which will repurpose it in a way. Because the earth is what all matter is made from, right? Like, this is the basic element, the one that we live in. And so because of that, it's the one that when you give it stuff, it's why we give back the dead to the earth, right?
Hmm.
Like, we bury them and then they become food for the forest, right? And in nature, that's what happens. That's exactly the process. I mean, the reason we bury people is for health reasons, but in nature, when something dies, it just becomes compost.
Right. We don't own our bodies or anything about us. Like you
No,
can you can be buried, you can be cremated. No matter what you do, you're returning to the earth
that's about it. Yeah,
because there's no way around it. Like
your
you're
body's going to return to the earth, and
yeah.
your soul is going to return to the
So
all
speaking of which,
beings.
I don't remember what I was about to say earlier, but I do have something new again.
Okay,
I also witnessed this new thing, and it was a ocean burial. Like they actually take the body straight from the I guess the service, or maybe that could be the service, on a boat, and they have to put weights in it in the coffin and stuff,
so
and
that it
then
sinks.
they send it off.
Yeah, the in submarines they do it through the silos. They have to shoot them out of the silos
But
like
they say this is
torpedoes.
becoming like more popular. Like they said how
Oh,
many
as
cases they
a
had last year. Yeah, like more people are starting to ask for this.
as a service. Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Well, why not? I mean, people have all kinds of things they want to do when they die. Personally, I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
Eat me, feed me to the birds, like whatever. Bury me under a tree so the tree can benefit. I don't know. It'll just because I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it was the same thing when my mom passed. Everybody went to the wake, and when I was there and I was looking at my mom, right, everybody was like, "Well, why aren't you like, like?" And I was like, "But that's not my mom. That's her body. That's her envelope. Like, that was my mom, but like my mom's not there anymore. She's gone. Why am I staring at the envelope?" And I was
Hmm.
like, "Can we, not, repurpose it now? Go bury it. Go like I didn't. Well, I mean, I'm, that's also my ADHD, autistic, whatever mind. But to me, it seemed so weird to even look at the body because I only see it as a vehicle, as you know, I mean, a useful one and a great one and a cool one. I like it here.
Until you remember what it was like over there.
No, you know what? I don't know. I I have an attachment to humanity. Uh, I don't care how crazy humans are. I don't care how I still,
Maybe all souls do. Maybe that's why they continue to reincarnate.
yeah. It's no. There's something amazing about the material world. About, like, there's something that the although there's also something amazing about the astral world. So yeah. But there's
But that's
something that can't be in the astral world that's in the material world.
hmm
Like, and it's a lot.
but as far as grounding goes, you we're talking about hugging a
Mhm.
tree or like we were saying imagining it. So like in this circle we do imagine things. Um like I live off the ground. Like I'm not on flat on the ground. I'm off the ground and then there's a cement slab and then there's the ground. So
Yeah.
like, I'm imagining this. But this is for a spirit connection. When we're talking about for healing, I would very much suggest going into nature, going into the grass or into the sand or into the dirt. Take your shoes off. Sit in the grass, um,
The very
and read up on
feeling
it.
of nature, the very feeling of touching nature per se. And if it, I mean, especially women, like the nice part is what you can do too is you can wear a skirt and you can go, and a man, if you're, if you're willing, you can wear a skirt, uh, and go, in the grass, whatever, and sit, and it's okay. You can have, like, full body contact and nobody cares. Like, you're just sitting in a skirt, right? Like, I'm not talking a mini skirt. I'm talking about a, like a long skirt that when you sit, you're just, you could even be naked if you wanted. Like, people do it. That's why you see all the hippie people that are always wearing those types of because they do a lot of grounding and a lot of that kind of stuff. Um, but I have there's an exercise I do too sometimes just to, uh, for me, it's all a lot of times I come back to visualizations and things like that. And what I'll do for grounding, if I'm stuck, like I'm at the office, I'm at whatever, I'm in the middle of nowhere, and I'm like freaking out. Uh, like, I'll close my eyes, whatever, try to relax as much as possible, and then I'll basically imagine myself becoming like super solid. Like, I'll feel the ground under me. So again, same thing. If you can be barefoot, if you can be, but if you can't, that's fine, whatever you can do, right? If you can take off the shoes, that's really, really best. But if not, okay. And you imagine yourself growing roots into the ground. And so you start having a root system. Now, as you do this, you draw light and you send it into the root system, a little bit like we were doing with the water, but now this time you're doing it as if you were a tree. And as you do that, you imagine the feeling of being like, 1,000-year-old oak tree. You know what I mean? Like something massive that like cannot be moved. Even if a bulldozer came and tried to push you, you would be steady. You know what I mean? And you imagine that feeling. You kind of focus on what would it feel like if I was a rock, let's say. But in this case, we'll use the tree because we're starting with that. But then imagine those roots and again give it whatever it is you need to give. And where this is useful and where people don't always mention, well, never mention it almost, is when people talk about the law of attraction. One of the things they forget is that they always have to give back something. They have to let go of something. And grounding is a really, really good way of letting go of things as well, because you can imagine old habits. You can imagine, uh, like anything that you need to let go of, you can visualize it leaving you and going back into the earth, and the earth will repurpose it, because that's what it does. It recycles energies
hmm
into matter. So, I mean, whatever. It's belief, but works for me. That's all I got to say. So, yeah, that's my sort of take on it. Um,
So we're pretty much in agreement. I think
yeah.
the main thing to stress is that um I think that everyone should go and give this video at least listen to the first 10 minutes. If you're not hooked,
Oh,
don't
that's
watch the
the
rest.
okay.
But this video you'll learn a lot, especially if you have a loved one or yourself that has high blood pressure or um any sort of ailment.
Hmm.
It's many, many things. I shall be doing so
Nice.
much more.
Well, and if you guys want, leave comments. You know what I mean? Like, go see it, leave comments back here, come back, say, hey, the video was great. The video sucked. The video was, life changing. It was whatever it is, whatever happens, you go watch it. You love it. Something happens. Let us know what happened. We're always looking for comments. Again, like, share. Even now you can leave comments and say, hey, you guys are crazy, or you guys are awesome.
Or just leave us some emojis.
you know um but yeah, so outside of grounding, okay, shielding, how about we tied that into it, because shielding is another very, very important well, it's a very important tool for empaths and anybody that's hypersensitive, I
Yeah.
guess. It can be a very powerful tool.
Yeah. Grounding I think is important for anybody. Um Shielding is important for anybody too.
Well, it's
But
it's mostly people that have that empathy problem, right? People that feel other people.
I mean we all do to some extent. I hope. I would like to believe.
Narcissists don't. um there's a few yeah, no, there's people that literally don't feel empathy. They're Yeah, it's different. They're different. um but for those of us that feel it beyond, uh shielding is an excessively good tool. uh, so if anybody's in that boat, the way I work with shielding, basically I start from my heart chakra, or uh whatever energy you work with that brings you to your heart. And from there, what I do is if I can identify the thing that's bothering me, or that's invading me, or that's like, I mean, I don't personally do it much because I do so many other things that I don't really need to shield. Shielding is a defense thing, number one. So if you're shielding, it's because you're still vulnerable to things coming in from outside, right? And so you shield as you know what I mean? You use your shield when you're going to war, but when you enter a time of peace, you don't use a shield anymore, right? And so you use shielding when you're still, as an empath, and like when you're receiving input from everywhere and you can't make sense of it, and you don't know what's coming from where, what's your emotion, what's another person's emotion. It becomes very confusing. And so at that point, you can use shielding to say, okay, I'm going to shield myself from other people's emotions. And so you take whatever is bothering you, you try to give it an image if you can, and then from your heart center, you expand a sphere filled with white light that comes just around you, like just it just fits right around you. It's sort of an extension of your aura, if you will. For a moment, you're kind of making your aura into a sphere, and you're filling it with energy. Now, the best thing would the best thing would be to draw energy from source, because if not, you're using your own energy, and that can be draining. So I would imagine a bright, an excessively bright white light, above your head, shooting down, to you and into your heart. Yeah, something like that. And if you want to know the feeling that you should try to evoke, go stand in the light, go stand in the sunlight, and close your eyes. That's what you're attempting to kind of get to. And it's really hard to at first, for some people. For some people, it's super easy, but for most of us, I guess it's pretty hard. Uh, because visualization is a skill. It's like every other skill; it needs to be developed. It's a muscle, definitely. I don't know. What do you think about that visualization? Like, did it come easy to you? Did it come? Because I know you do a fair bit of it, right? Like you,
No, because sometimes, like, and even now, but especially starting off, it's like when the more you try to concentrate on something, the more something pops into your head or your leg itches, or oh, you got to do this, or don't forget to remember to do this when you finish doing this, or like it's
hmm
something's always in your head. Um, but the more you do it, it's just like anything else. You get more comfortable.
yeah.
You become more relaxed, and um,
I mean, mostly about the visualizations per se, though, because I mean, what you're talking about can be both visualizations or sitting meditation, right?
yeah. Well, the thing is with visualizations, I don't remember a time where I haven't done that.
Okay, so
Like
you've always been able
my
to
entire life,
visualize.
I've done that. Yeah,
Okay,
as long as I
yeah.
can
See,
remember.
yeah. See, I remember learning it, and at first it was like I could see things, but it was hard. It wasn't like it is now. I mean,
Well,
definitely not.
like sometimes if I go into meditation with somebody else, that's saying the meditation,
hmm
I will like, let's say a common one is you walking down by a stream, and then
hmm
they'll say in the distance there's a house, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, the house is on the right side, and then she goes, the house is to your
On the
left.
left, yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, fuck. Okay,
I
well,
get that.
my house is on my right. Like,
hmm
so, but I little things like that, I change it around a little bit. I can still visualize it, but it might not be what everybody else's
I
visualization
get what
is.
you're saying. It happens to me too, but I think there's value in rehearsed visualizations. Like if you repeat the same one, because then you know, right? Next time
Yeah,
you go, yeah, the house is on the left. I'm not gonna get hit this time, and you kind of just do it the same way, right? Like
yeah.
I have a book that's got excruciatingly detailed meditations like that. I mean, they're pathworking for the Kabbalah, and they're very long, and it describes an entire temple and gods appear to you and blah blah blah, and it's very very elaborate. Um, you don't get the full thing from first time you do it. You're just like, oh, okay, whatever. But then the second time you do it, well, you get a little more, and then the next time you
Yeah.
do it. But this is how now those are advanced, right? Like at first, like I've shown you, whatever you do, smaller rituals where you trace things in the air and you learn to use your visualization. But once you're doing this, what starts happening is you create that temple. So now, on let's say you've been doing it for 2 weeks now, uh now you show up at that temple and it's very different all of a sudden, because now the god that appears is kind of like, taking its own personality in some way, if you will. And the reason for that is because you've now created a space, like a container, for your psyche, for your subconscious, or some deeper part of you, for your higher self, really, to be able to communicate things to you. You've given it a voice, a body. You've said, like, hey, this is the god whatever, and it's the god that takes care of this kind of stuff,
Hmm.
right? So when you do path working, you're going to start with the god in Malkut, which is the god of earth, right? It's the god of the material world. And then you're going to move up to Yesod, and you're going to use all the different paths, and each of them have relationship with the different other aspects, and so on and so forth. But each time you're going to explore one, now that's what you're doing. You're opening a new part of your psyche, which is now made available to you. And it wasn't before, because your subconscious can only understand symbols. It doesn't understand words too well, but it can, if you give it sort of a shape like that, if you give it a form, then you can manage to a little. You're creating dreams, but dreams with a purpose. right? When we dream, there's a lot going on between us and our subconscious. When we create a dream state in, in our mind, uh, at first we're creating, what I mean? We're visualizing, it's our imagination, but eventually it starts telling us things that we didn't absolutely know. And you kind of go, okay, well, wait a minute. How did it tell me that? I don't know that. Right? Like there's things that start happening like that. Jill, your camera is now upside down. I'm losing you.
No, I dropped it, but
Oh,
my
you
camera's
dropped it.
off for
Okay.
everybody. They
Oh
only
no.
knew because you told them.
Oh, that's true. Okay, sorry. Well, because it threw me off. I was like, oh my god, what am I doing? You guys missed it. It's because like she was basically like turning around. I just went like, whoa, what's going on? All right. Nothing to see. See, everything's fine.
It might fall again. I'm not finished fixing it.
Oh, you're almost there. But yeah, um, your turn.
Yeah. All right, now I'm lost. Tell me where you were.
um, I was pretty much done with that. I think. Um,
Um, you would have loved Circle the other night. We did Chichi Chichi. It's not the Mama Lodge or whatever that song is. Moulin Rouge. It's I forgot the words, but it was
where are we
like it
going?
Jessica does it so good. And it's a song and you gotta sing it and you gotta sing it and you gotta sing it. And I'd have to explain it to you because it's like a ritual thing. It was fun and it was cool.
Okay, it's like a mantra, sort
And
of.
they beat the drums.
Okay. Oh, so it's like chanting, sort of like
Hmm.
chanting. So it's a mantra. You're chanting.
Yeah.
Well, a mantra. Yeah, yeah.
Well,
It makes sense.
Jessica had some
Oh,
shakers
that's cool.
and Pam had a tambourine.
Oh, really? Eh? Wow. That must have been cool.
Yep.
I know I have
It
to try
was
to.
fun. You would have loved it.
If I had better bedtimes, it would be good. I go to bed too early. It's because of my. It's because of the rest of my life.
Well, we're gonna be moving back to 8 o'clock now that my class is finished.
Well, that'd be good.
Starting this week coming.
And if anybody's interested, Jill runs circles and stuff like that. Like she does a lot. You guys reach out. Like she's. Well, you. How about you? You give us a little spiel on some of the stuff you've got available these days.
Well, I don't have anything in the healing circle that is completely closed right now.
Okay.
Um, the development circle would require like an interview,
Okay.
not to not to necessarily assess if someone is capable of making a connection or not, because all levels of development are welcome, but it would be to assess if the energy between the circle members and the potential circle
Any
member
new member?
were good energy. Yeah.
Okay.
We have to make sure the energy is good with any new member coming in.
Cool.
So that would be it.
Nice.
And my email for that, I have so many email addresses. Um, Psychic medium Jill Petrie at gmail.com.
Maybe write it in the chat or whatever.
Or you could they could email the Jill and Frank chat. None
That's
of
cool.
our viewers email us anyway. We'd have something to check.
It's true. Yeah, guys. Again, leave comments. Feel free to interact with us, please. We're definitely interested. Now, on that, I think tonight we can maybe make it a short one. I think it's hot in your neck of the woods, and it's
Yes.
pretty hot in mine. So
Yes.
I want to start back my air conditioner, which makes a lot of noise, but makes a lot of cool air.
Okay, so guys, we will be back next Thursday. 7 Central, 8 Eastern, Pacific. I don't know them all. I just know Central and Eastern.
Pacific
Um,
would be
2 hours
five.
before.
5 Pacific.
Yeah, yeah, 5 Pacific.
Right
I
at
don't know the
supper time.
mountain. We're not getting into all that, Frank. That's
So
like
come
way
have
too
supper with
much.
us. Come have dinner with us.
Yeah, come have dinner with us. Yeah, that's a good idea, Frank. Let's plan that for our 50th show.
What's that?
Come
Have a
have
dinner?
dinner with us. Yeah,
How? Okay, you'll have to run that by me.
yeah,
How
yeah.
that
That
would
would be a
work.
cool idea. That's a look out for that upcoming idea, guys. Meanwhile, as always, we thank you for joining us and we appreciate y'all. We will interact with y'all if y'all interact with us in the comments and we will get back with you.
Good evening and
Good
good
evening.
week.
See y'all next week.
Take care.